Hey, what is going on, guys? Dennis here. So, I've got a little bit of an impromptu video here because I was actually going into one of my drawers looking for a certain knife, and then it just struck me, why don't I do a knives in general video just for the fun of it? Now, it's not a huge collection. By no means is this all the stuff I have, but this is what I gathered in maybe 5 minutes. So we're going to start off with some stuff with some historical significance here. Okay, this one I got by accident at a Army-Navy store by me. And if you look very carefully at that, yes, that is a bayonet lug, and yes, this is a real bayonet from World War I. This is what you would refer to as a Swedish M1896 bayonet, and it goes to a Swedish Mauser rifle, which is, I don't know, I think it's a different caliber than the Mauser, but that's not really relevant here. But yeah, this knife still has a pretty good edge on it. I obviously don't use it, it's a collector's item, but this thing is very solid, nice center of gravity and everything, and what I would say is, you know, they don't make stuff like they used to, so yeah, found that somewhere. Next little one is going to be something that I got actually at an auction, but I'm just going to throw it right out there that there are companies that sell these replica knives like I'm about to pull out here. A lot of them do not want to ship to certain states, and I don't know why that is. So, you know, forget about what the law says for the state I'm in. I got one anyway. This is said to be a replica of a German SS officer's... Oh, I got it backwards. Yeah, German SS officer's official dagger, something along those lines. Show them real close here. You got some detailed stuff here on the chain. This is totally a reproduction, by the way. I think I paid maybe, I don't know, 30, 40 bucks at the auction for it, but you got your, you know... Imperial, or what do you call it, your German Eagle from that time period. You have your bolts, you have a little bit of ornate stuff here and there, and when you pull it out, it is a double-edged dagger, and in this case, all for, oh yeah, Alles for Deutschland, or all for Germany. I don't know if that's exactly what was inscribed on these things, but yeah, that's just one of those things. Not really sure whether they really use these things much. I think they were more of a dress piece, but... So now let's just get into all these other knives that I just happen to have because I was going into one drawer, and yeah, so... Alright, without digressing, I do work as a butcher. None of the stuff is going to be anything with kitchen knives because we did that in another video, and I don't want to go out to the truck for any of that stuff anyway, so... Anyway, one thing you're going to want to get yourself, whether you're in a kitchen or just carrying a knife or using one, is going to be a good knife sharpener. Now these, I really don't know if they make these anymore. This is actually from my grandfather, my late grandfather, he gave me this thing back in like 1990, so if you want to take a look at this thing and Google or do something, you know, figure it out if they even make these anymore. If you find one, you know, more power to you. You could also go to places like Walmart and get you a tabletop sharpener where you have a coarse stone here, fine stone here, and they sell plenty of other stuff similar, so there you go with that. Now I'm just going to run real quick through a huge pile of knives that were sitting in one drawer, so let's go ahead and do this. Alright, first one is going to be my personal knife that I usually have on me at work. So, some of you people that work in retail stores have a box cutter. This is my box cutter. This is a fixed blade Smith & Wesson M&P Shield. Stamped steel, 15 bucks. Nice satisfying click to the holster. I do not use that clip, but I just shove the whole thing in the pants pocket. And also, okay, here's this knife. Well, we got her out. Okay, it's no longer and bigger than a pocket knife when it's open, so watch. Here is a Kershaw folding pocket knife. Side by side, there is really not much length difference. So the only real difference is the choice that you have if you're going to carry, where you go, do I want it folded up like this, or do I want to have it all in one piece like this? Personally, I do fixed blade because fixed blade has no moving parts, so at no point is this going to fold on my hand like it might or ultimately will with this. Okay, let's get to these other ones. Okay, one little side note I'm also going to put in here too. You have your multi-tools such as Swiss Army knives, Leatherman, stuff like that. You know, you see all kinds of companies make these things. Okay, so here we have a Leatherman. I'm not going to pull out all the features, but I always consider the most useless part of a Leatherman to be the knife blade, because this is an afterthought. Yeah, sure, I have a little bit of a cutting tool here, but trust me, if I'm outside with one of these things, I'm not going for one of these for a knife. Okay, so that out of the way, what do we got next here that we can pull out? Okay, here's a nice one. This one is actually the K-Bar TDI Pocket Strike, which I think was designed by a former cop or security guard, something like that. This, the idea being that it is a fixed blade, and you have a single finger guard here, right, or finger ring right here, which is like a retention ring. You're not losing this knife. You could be cutting any which way, and because of this ring, you're not losing the knife. Got a nice holster right here, goes right in. This clips right in your pocket, so it actually will fit kind of like if you were, like just conveniently in a way you can get to it easily. That's why it's designed for, like, law enforcement, security, people that want to be able to carry a full fixed blade knife without having to, what do you call it? Without having to compromise or figure out a way to fit it on them, so. Okay, so now, what have I got next here? Okay, this is just a wild card I threw in. This is actually not really a knife, but it's a hell of a tool to have because it's a folding locking bow saw where I can change the blade, I can adjust it, and do one of these, and it closes back up. But yeah, if I want to cut trees down or limbs off trees, small stuff like that, that's what that's for. You gotta love the stuff that they sell at like Bass Pro Shop and those places. You know what I mean? So now, okay. This one is made by Husky, the tool company, and actually I was given this by a, oh, excuse me. I was given this by a coworker who actually just said, hey man, I found this in the parking lot and I think you would appreciate this more than me. And okay, so this is what we're going to do now. As far as these blades that lock open, that fold open here. Okay, this is one where you're depressing something right here and spring-loaded on the spine, if you can see. It locks back, it does this, it folds back down. The problem I have with all these things is at some point they're going to fold right back down and they're going to go on your hands, so these are even worse. Okay, it opens easily, but the only thing stopping you is a very little spring right here, and all it's got to do is just move slightly, and now you're folding back up. So this is why with these types of knives, I really just, I have them laying around like a drawer or desk knife, but you're usually not going to see me carrying any kind of a folding knife for that reason. Okay, moving up the ladder here. Got another little wild card here, and this is a fishing or fillet knife that I bartered from somebody. This is like cheap, like maybe 10 bucks worth of materials or 10 bucks worth of retail value, maybe. Okay, once again, it folds open and locks open and has one of these things, but this is just for filleting a fish or something quick, or you got to cut your fishing bait up. You're not, doing too much work with one of these, so I'll allow this. Okay, let's go on to... Okay, people have seen these before. If you want to carry a good box cutter, you can always get a folding one that's got the pocket clip, and Husky makes these, so... This takes those trapezoid-shaped blades where if one side wears out, you take it out, you flip it, you got the other side, and... Once again, another thing I hate about these folding knives is this thing also locks open, but still, at some point, if you're holding this thing and something fails, you're not going to want a razor blade down on your finger. Let me just say that. So, not saying I hate half these knives, I'm just saying some have limited uses. So, this is a K-bar Warthog. Used to have a pocket clip, but it broke off on me from carrying it, but opens up very smoothly. Got a nice edge, got a little bit of a serrated edge. You got a really, really nice, I think they call it a thumb stud there, so you can very easily, when you want to open it up, you could, when you want to open this guy up, you can very easily do one of those with just that, but once again, a very weak spring is all that holds this thing open, so good knife, but could be better. Let's get on to some of these other guys I got laying around here. Okay, this is actually the very cheap Walmart store brand. I think it's Ozark Trail they call it, but for a cheap knife like this, I still got a pretty good edge on it, and it's not real bone handles, but it's still, I mean, you know, it's got actually a very strong spring on the inside, it looks like, to hold it open. And although I would not really use this knife for much, it would be a knock around, maybe tackle box or whatever knife, but this is pretty good still. Now, let's see what I got next. Okay, this is a Gerber skeletonized folder. I actually bought a lot of tools, I believe, from a woman whose husband had passed away and left behind a whole lot of tools. So here's another one who locks open, and you have a piece right here that actually acts as the spring from inside. If you open it up this way, you'll see what pops in like that. So this one, I basically just took out Allen keys. I tightened it up a little bit, you know, hit it with some WD-40, got a decent edge on there for something, but this is literally a knife that just sits in the little pile over here with a pair of scissors in case I need a letter opener. So that, you know, it's a very worn out knife, but I'm not saying it's a bad one if you bought a new one. Alright, let's go ahead and do let's go ahead and get to the interesting knives now. Okay, we've only got like maybe 2 or 3 more folding knives, so to speak. This guy is a mossy oak. Looks like your average, you know, folding knife similar to, say, the Warthog here, but these are razor blades on here. They are just a proprietary type where you have to, let's just see how we do this. Yeah, the blades themselves come off, and they are very, very thin and sharp like razors, so we are just going to go ahead and put this piece back where it goes and hope to hell that I did it the right way, because I don't want to play with this thing. This is not a very strong spring holding this open, but generally all you're going to be doing with a knife like this is popping it open, and it's for very, very fine work where you got to get in with something very sharp. So, like, say, skinning a deer or something. Maybe if you're beginning the process of that, or if you're, I don't know, there's a lot of stupid things, such as even opening boxes that you can do with this, but it's basically a utility knife that just looks kind of cool. So, enough with this one. Now let's get to something a little bit better here, or let's get all the folders out of the way. Okay, now if anybody wants to think back to the show Happy Days, I don't think Fonzie actually carried one, but it was kind of implied that your hoodlums from the 50s would have a little stiletto. This is actually not really a stiletto, this is a Kershaw, but it quite literally does resemble a modern stiletto. My pocket clip is a bit bent here, and I'll just say, I mean, this knife got a lot of use out of me already for a lot of things, but it actually has a quite decent spring in the middle, so I'm not saying that I would, you know, trust banging it on something and it wouldn't come back down on me, but if I just wanted something quick that I knew I can get out and use and do a few things with and be able to fold it up as easily as this, then yeah. That's why you keep one of those around. Now let's start getting to the really good knives. This is one of the trusty knives that I take out with me when I am hiking, camping, you know, like really roughing it. This is like a knife that you could bushwhack a trail with because you got, you know, this is a retention holster right here. It's a bit of a dangler if you put it on your belt, but this thing has some real authority to it. So let's open up this holster and see what we got here. Just want to get some of that dust off because this thing has been sitting in the holster for a while, but yeah. This would be your Mossy Oak Guthook. I absolutely love this knife. All one piece, full tang steel. These grips feel absolutely great. Sorry, I'm very thirsty. But anyway, you got your Guthook right here, so if you want to skin a deer, you go right ahead, make your first little cut there, and then you flip around and you do one of these, and you get that deer right out of his pajamas. And I'm not even one that knows how to hunt, but I know that. This blade is very, very sharp. You got a nice straight edge on here, a nice, very thick amount of girth. Like, look at the thickness and the girth to that blade. Look at that. You're not bending or breaking one of these very easily. Very beautiful center of gravity. If you wanted to actually hack something, like, well, I'm in the house, so I can't grab a piece of wood or whatever, but let's just go and pretend... Right, here, this'll work. Pretend that my cigarette pack over here is a piece of wood. I could literally probably take this knife and just right through and cut this whole thing in half, but I'm not going to do that. Alright, so also, if I happen to be hiking, I might refer to this one as my Susie Q, because this is one of those knives that you're just going to be in love with no matter what you do. Oh, I just want to hold this thing now, but yeah. Next one. This one is made by Camillus, and they make some cheap stuff and some not so cheap stuff, but this is one where it was like a budget line, and I believe Walmart one year had way too many of these things and just put them on closeout, but this is another Guthook. This also, I believe, is probably full tang, and anyway, yeah, center of gravity, rubberized grips. I mean, the center of gravity feels absolutely, whoa, absolutely great on here. I mean, I'm hanging by one finger right on the groove here, so yeah, that's a very well-balanced knife. 440 stainless steel, I believe. But yeah, you got your traditional Guthook right up here, and then you got your straight edge here, which is really, really sharp. This is another knife where I may keep it in a drawer a lot, but if I know I'm going to be hiking or doing something where I know I'm going to need this, or if I want to go get me a whitetail this year, this would be one of the knives that would go with me. I really don't know whether it would be this one or this one, quite frankly. Might just bring both. Okay, so now, why does this not want to go back in here? Alright, so now we've got even more. Now I got me... Okay, this is Elkridge Professional. Went to my Army surplus guy and actually bought this. So we just open up this holster here, and here's another one where I would actually say it's not very much bigger than a pocket knife when it's open. Let's just see if I got a pocket knife to compare, but okay, there is a little bit of size difference here, but not by very much. This knife is very, very, very pointy, very sharp. It's got a very nice straight edge on it. Elkridge Professional, and what do we got here? 440C stainless, custom designed, forged. It's a forged knife. Big difference. When someone forges a knife, they are using a piece of metal and actually banging it into the shape they need and hitting it with the right treatment, heat and otherwise, just to get this thing to the right strength and everything else. I mean, you even got a very nice ridge right here for the grip on your thumb, so yeah, this does not want to slip out of your hand when you're doing anything with it. So yeah, very good knife. I think I might not have paid too much for this one either, but yeah. Let's just go ahead and button that back in. So now, mind you, these are not all the knives I own. I'm just going through what I happen to find in 5 minutes here, but let's go ahead and... Now, this is one of those ones that you would call a neck knife, as I can wear it like this, and have it above or below my shirt, and always draw it. Or, this holster that it comes with actually does have a belt loop, so if I really wanted to, I could always take the cord right out, and I could always mount it right on my belt. But this is what we call a Columbia River Knife and Tool Company Minimalist Bowie. It looks like a very tiny Bowie knife. Comes with this little braid, and you've got a nice, very nice grip on a very small knife, but this can get some work done, believe me. Might be a 2.5 inch blade, but this used to be one of my main knives to carry everywhere, so I know. Okay. Now let's get to these last couple of cool ones. I have no idea what this brand really is, but this is something you would usually break out on, hunting season. Not normally would you carry this with you every day. Okay, this is what you call a caper. Get your finger groove over here, and you got a real good grip on this thing, and yeah. Nice bright orange handle. You are not losing one of these too easily, at least visibility-wise. The other one it comes with is a, surprise, surprise, Guthook. So yeah, I'm going to be hunting very soon, and stuff like this will come in handy, but yeah. This is what you call a smaller version of a Guthook, but it's also got some girth to it. I like the sharpening on the inside here, and I love the feel of this edge. Now, this is a knife set I hardly ever used, so these guys are very sharp. Why am I so thirsty? Okay, anyway. Let's go ahead and put these guys back. Okay, so now, after I get these guys folded up, or put back the way they need to be here, now we're going to go into a type of knife that I do not condone the ownership or use or anything else of, because they are probably the stupidest thing you could pay your hard-earned money for. Okay, let's just take, this is just a regular pocket knife. Okay, so If any of y'all have heard of anything like a switchblade, a gravity knife, a ballistics knife, this one's not really a ballistics knife. It's definitely a switchblade, but it's not a... Let's just say it's one of the stupidest knives that you could own, and it's not practical. So even if it was legal, it's not something you want to carry, but... This is a Schrade Viper, considered a OTF or out the front knife. So what we do here is, right, we've got a safety on this thing, believe it or not. Just like a gun. Wait, this is black and white we're filming in, but right now you have nothing showing. You move this out of the way, you got a red dot. Well, just like with a gun, red rhymes with dead, so... Now, you got two other buttons right over here. Oh, I hate this thing. Yes, you hit the button, it opens wide up. You have another release button here. Then you gotta spring load it all the way back down. Now, some of y'all might be looking at this right now going, oh, that's so cool, I have to have one of those. But let me tell you something. It's not just that it's illegal. It's not very practical because what happens with all these moving parts? Eventually, you know, okay, say I decided to go to the beach or something. I come back, it went from doing this to maybe, you know, the most you could get it to do is maybe just hit the button, you're getting it part way out, and maybe you got sand or something in there. Maybe you got other stuff in there. I would just that's one thing. But the worst part is, okay, this is locked now. Safety is on. This is where the blade comes out. This is where the pocket clip is. So if you put this in your pocket, the part where the blade comes out is facing your leg. Okay, there's not much stopping this little safety from coming undone. And God forbid it was in your pocket without the safety on and something just hit that button. Or, okay, let me get my finger out of the way, but yeah, just imagine this, people. Imagine you have this in your pocket, something accidentally hits that button and the clip is holding the knife down toward your leg. That's what you got to deal with. So, these OTF or switchblades or whatever you want to call them, do not really get my seal of approval. As I had already stated, if you really want something good to carry with you, I would just say go get yourself one of these for like 35, 40 bucks, or go to Bass Pro or Dick's Sporting Goods, and for 15, 20 bucks you get one of these. These, you keep them sharp, you keep them clean, you keep it in your pocket, and you're fine all day. But stupid little things like, say, okay, assisted open folding knives are really overrated. Just get you some good fixed blades. I know that was kind of a long one, guys, but hey, impromptu, I just grabbed some knives out of the drawer, and I decided, hey, let's talk about knives. Alright, stay tuned, guys.